Hello. Oh, hello, Deadfire. How are you doing tonight? Thank you for coming to the stream. It's really nice to see you. Alright, so. Well, that's just adorable. And Draken Hunter, nice to see you as well. It's very late for you. I'm sorry to be streaming so late. I actually just got back from the movies. I had planned on doing this stream earlier, but really wanted to go see the new Running Man movie. But even if it is late for you, I really appreciate you coming to see me for at least a little. Alright, so as the notice said, tonight I'm going to be playing the last chapters of 3 a.m. Wow, you are up late, aren't you? I assume you're over in Europe then. Oh, I see. Well, thank you for joining me from all the way over there. I really appreciate it. I hope you're having a very good night. Good, that's wonderful to hear. Alright, so tonight I'm going to be going through the last chapters of Dispatch. I've played through the first chapters. Last episode was pretty brutal. Well, the way things are going, I can only assume that is true. Because the 6th episode ended kind of brutally as well. I am a little scared that Chase just died. I'm sure he had. Oh, that's what you meant? Yeah. Well, we can only hope that from here on out things go a little bit better. You don't know what happens in 7 or 8? Well, I don't know either, so we shall find out together now, won't we? Uh, honestly, me too. Chase was a very good character, and I'm going to be a little angry if he ends up biting it. I know, right? But whatever happens, we'll go through it together. So at least you won't be alone. All right. So, just as a little recap, they had found the astral pulse at the end of the last episode, and despite wanting to wait, Invisigal decided to go in there and try to take care of this herself, which of course ended badly. Oh, she ended up finding the astral pulse, which was then taken from her by the big bad BBEG of the series, and requiring Invisigal to be rescued by Chase, who shouldn't be using his powers, but ended up doing so. And it ended with him collapsing last time. So, without further ado, let us see what happens. Resume on episode 7. Why is there... No? I hadn't noticed that before. I don't know why. Maybe it has something to do with Chapter 7. Maybe it's a little bit of foreshadowing. Alright. I'm going to... I'm going to move over here so that I'm not quite so in the way. Yes, it's so I can look at you. I can see you, dear God. Aw, thank you. Alright. So, without further ado, we shall proceed with Episode 7, Retrospective. You know, I hadn't noticed these little things. If an accident or injury should occur on the job, it is extremely important that you notify your manager or HR promptly, no matter how minor the incident may seem. Oh, that seems pretty normal as far as corporate guidelines go. Oh, I am so nervous.
I'm too old to be crying.
Fuck off. No, you're not. I cry all the time.
I
Really?
don't think...
When?
When I was your age, I cried for weeks when the Raiders left LA.
I don't think
Yeah,
HR
it's
exists.
totally
The
the
amount of
fucking same as my
violations
dad
Team
never
Z
being
has
home.
done. Well, you know,
Whoa,
that's
motherfucker.
fair.
Language.
Holy
And it
shit,
was
is
the
that
same.
Chase? No
My
way.
pops had season tickets growing up. Seats sucked, but I just liked being there with him. So
This is not
yeah,
looking good for
when they
Chase's
moved,
survival.
I was crying like a little bitch too.
They're showing him
Are you saying I'm crying like a bitch?
Yes.
showing
bitch.
him
That's exactly what I'm
retrospectively
saying.
when he was
What do you
younger.
want
This
from the
is not
store?
looking
Your
great.
dad gave me $100 and I gotta break the shit anyway.
He pays you?
To be around your crying bitch ass? Fuck yeah, he pays me. Now, come on, whatever you want.
I love their dynamic.
Just make it less than $20, because I'm not trying to go broke every time you get lonely.
Let's ask for
Can
a cigar.
I get a Swisher thing?
The fuck you want with a Swisher?
Isn't that what you and Dad smoke?
Right, yeah, yes. That is what we smoke. Fine, but don't share it with your dad.
I swear, I won't.
No shit, kid. I was joking. Keep up.
Yeah, they definitely did. And for those of you who don't know,
There, bitch.
Swishers
You happy now?
Swishers are what
Go to the
they
bathroom.
use
Put the fan on. Light it up.
to
Then inhale that
rewrap
shit.
marijuana.
Take a deep ass breath. You know.
Yeah, I know.
Means Chase and his dad are having really fun.
Why does it burn?
Does it burn?
Sucks, right? That's why it's for grown-ups. Here. Your favorite.
You gonna eat those Twinks?
I didn't realize you two were that close. That it went back that far.
Oh.
I was obsessed with making the Mecha Man thing work.
That
Extreme focus, you know?
that hurts the.
One step in front of the other. By the time I looked up, I didn't know
Yes,
where I
he's
was.
breathing, but
I'm
that
sorry.
really hurts the heart.
Chase would
right
only
there.
babysit nights when Dad had to deal with something big. Working late, he called it. It was fine being alone, but I'd still ask to have him watch me because I could guilt trip him into buying me shit. He never said no. I made him run a lot back then.
Right. So maybe one less store run for bitch-ass Robert and he wouldn't be stuck in here. That's what you're saying, right?
I mean, it was, but now that you put it like that,
Hey, the only person that put Chase here. Pending the investigation, Invisigal suspended. Obviously, but I think you should consider cutting her from the team. I'm not saying you should.
Oh,
I'm just saying you should consider it. It's 100% your call.
I'm worried something like that might just make things worse.
Yeah, it's just... I can't help but think that we've already cut a hero for far less.
I didn't want to
Yeah,
cut
send a
him, you
message.
assholes.
That's kind of my point.
Just gets better and better.
You made me cut Sonic. Or Sonar.
Vending machine?
Whatever I want.
He's so fucking proud of the man you've become. He told me that.
Oh. Oh, that is such a gut punch. Oh, God. Blonde Blazer is going down in your rankings. Putting it in the wrong way. Oh, this is probably where the chair came from.
You okay, bud?
Oh, don't
It's
cry.
just...
It's alright, it'll
I'm
be
just
okay.
mad.
Yeah. I'm a little mad.
We're gonna get through this together, I promise.
I can't. It's not fair. Invisigal was the one who... And then Chase shouldn't have...
Aw, even Waterboy's mad.
Do you think he did the right thing? I mean, I don't... It seems very not clear. Or unclear.
I think Chase knew he was the only one who could save her, and he knew the risk. So yeah, I think it was ultimately the right thing.
Like, woman, I might lose a friend. Can we discuss cutting people later? Yeah, that kind of seems like the shitty time to bring that
Case in
up.
point.
Oh, there we go. Oh, fuck yeah, Waterboy.
Feel better?
Kinda. I'll clean it up.
Damn, I didn't expect that from Waterboy.
Hey,
Damn.
so you've all probably heard some version of what happened. Let's get to it. Main takeaways are that Invisigal has been suspended, so we're a person down the shift, and that Chase is in the
Bro is
infirmary,
not having today, right?
and he's in pretty rough shape. Despite his disposition, he really likes you all. Just don't tell him I told you that. I've found doing something good always helps when I'm feeling bad. We're fortunate to have that opportunity. Something Chase never took for granted. So, let's get to work.
Oh. Alrighty then. Of course it's raining today. Why would it not be?
Hey, we've got a fuck ton of beached whales off the coast. Could really use some help getting them back in the ocean.
If there's no one else.
Yeah, there we go.
Thanks to the structural reinforcement, the damage to the resort is not as bad as it could have been.
And the energy today is not doing well.
Indeed.
I
I'd
think
sleep.
the rain caused one of those Volta Virtue cars to short out.
Well,
I think
if you
this
end
driver's
up needing
lost
to go to
control.
sleep, then you can go to sleep. That's okay. I'm still so happy that you showed up today and came to hang out with us for a little while. Oh shit. Ah. Okay, I need to stop dying to these things. I'm gonna have stream open though and listen. Aw, thank you. If my voice brings you comfort, then I'm happy. Alright, the password is left, right, right, left. I am more than happy to talk you to sleep. Oh shit, no! Except when I go say things like that. I'll try to keep it smooth for you. You know, honestly, I thought I had messed things up there. Thought I had 3 chances, but apparently I haven't. Which is great.
Upchuck's rugby team lost, and he's throwing a very toxic tantrum.
That wasn't the time, I just have 3 lives. I thought I had only 3 lives, but apparently I have 4. Acid Vomit Villain Upchuck is using the rain to rain terror on civilians in the stadium. That's not great.
Oh.
100% got this. And 100% got it again. There we go. Alright. Time for some upgrades. I'd like to go all in with your vigor. Level up. What? You're gonna continue to be my all-rounder. On calls. Let's- Alright, so your combat is let's knock him out with a chair. Nothing beats a good chair to the head. Knock him out. There we go. Oh. Guess it's kind of a slow day here on the dispatcher side.
Golem?
Oh shit.
Oh, Golem's shitface. I think he's about to piss mud on the high school.
Yeah, you know, I saw him pulling over a beer truck earlier. I did think that was weird.
Come on, buddy. Spit it out.
A lot of vomiting this shift.
A lot of vomiting.
Golem,
Shit.
I get it. I want to get shit-faced
Yes.
right now more than anything, but we got a job to do, and I need all of you to just hang in there until the end of the shift. After that, you can do whatever the fuck you want. Cool?
Chairs are proving to be the MVP of this game.
Can
I know,
someone
right?
please go get Golem before he does more property damage?
Calm the alien, angry civilians whose cars is trashed.
Huh? Oh, sure.
So we are once again returning to please get drunk and also do your cocaine while you're off shift.
Okay,
Come on,
so
guys.
we've got a super down here who controls bugs. Apparently they have beef with one of our farmers using pesticides. It's getting real biblical down here.
Hate the fucking rain. Flying's a bitch, you can't see shit.
The streets turned into a goddamn slip and slide.
I fucking love slip and slides, bro.
I haven't seen it come down.
I fucking love slip and
I
slides.
like
bro.
it. Feels right for today.
Fucking cool it, emo boy.
Fucking cool it, emo boy. Okay. Thanks, guys. You're so comforting in my time of need. You know what? We're just gonna continue to specialize you in charisma and well, I don't seem to be doing too badly on this show. Rescue Bone Zone. This guy's name is really Bone Zone.
Training helps me keep my mind off of things. I really think it can help the team too.
Somebody's gotta.
Hey. The Bone Zone pissed off the wrong gang, and they're holding him hostage. Listen, I know he sucks, but he writes my checks. Can you please just rescue him?
Wow, she sounded like she could not give a flying fuck. Rescue the Bone Zone and his employees from the Deadly Dozen. A band of villains break through the barricades of the radio station. You know what, Flambe? I might still just despise you, but you seem to be perfect for this.
Mm-hmm.
Go on.
Hi, just calling to confirm one of your Z-Team heroes for our interview this afternoon to discuss the Phoenix program.
Hello. Is this thing working?
Oh, shit. Sorry.
Red Wing's coordinating strikes across Torrance. Looks like they're hitting the port next.
Alright, I'm going to send Malevola and Golem because I want Golem to heal.
Oh, got it.
Let's see what I can get. On a call with less than 4 slots, Punch Up creates a slot exclusively for him to join. I like that one. Rar. Alright, we're gonna overhype the team. Oh, what the hell?
Figures.
Oh, that didn't work out very well. Oh, Flambe. God damn it. Oh, wait. Okay. Oh, hello, Soul. How you doing? Thank you for the follow. I really appreciate it. Oh, you know, I think I've been neglecting Flambe just because I don't like him. He's kind of my lowest ranked person now. That's fine. Feel free to lurk all you want. I really appreciate you showing up and giving me a follow. And I hope you're having a wonderful night. Give him more vigor. Oh, he has 2. Well, how about vigor and mobility?
Now is our chance to get payback. For Chase.
To I'm just going to make sure.
Of course. Fine, I'll fucking say it. What if Chase dies? If you don't shut your mouth. What are you on
better
about?
shut up.
That's the end of every story.
That's, why? Even... Not talking about it won't make it go away, okay? Fucking babies.
If he dies, he'll be taken care of. That I can promise.
How do you know?
I just do. Trust me.
Girl, what the fuck even are you?
It's a very good question. Like, is Malevola actually a demon? Like, is she for real a demon? Can she control the afterlife? Because, holy shit. That was a hell of a thing to say. Oh. That's not good. I only have...
This fucking rain is flooding our neighborhood. We need this water gone.
Investigate. Okay, so I need intelligence and I need mobility.
Ugh, beautiful.
I'll go.
The leveler is hot. That's all that matters for now. Well, you know what? I can't disagree with that. This definitely seems Karlach coded, which I'm 100% all for. Red Ring has been detained. We have... Oh yeah, we have taken that for Chase. Let's do it. Let's go. Tired of having straight low intellect. Should have probably spec'd somebody else to be intellect. Not you. You're still good at being stupid. Leveler, you confusing bitch. We're going to up your vigor. There we go. Let's see, Golem. What should we do with you? Mobility. Cool. Oh. You know, I had thought that I had reached the maximum level in the last chapter, but apparently the max level goes up. So you keep going. Which is wonderful. Well, we're gonna up your intellect. Because we're going to call you Rizboy from now on, and you're also just going to be Smart Boy. It's not looking good.
Waterboy.
Waterboy.
Can handle this?
Oh yeah.
Is my
You can
name
use
Waterboy? I mean, it's... Yes. Yes.
The hell do you mean the flood is out of... What?
We need backup down here. There's a mass pileup and the tanker caught fire.
Well, I mean, if something's on fire, let's send the flaming guy. The flooding returns. Shit.
What the fuck, man? We said less water, not more.
If we must.
The room's booked, yeah?
Yeah, confirmed it this morning. We're all good.
Like we don't have enough fucking problems.
Whatever. See you all there.
Oh, come on.
Doesn't even matter.
Flambe, you're a dick. But
Okay, team. Good shift, all things considered.
oh man, now we got
See
to
you
get
tomorrow.
back to the story.
Hopefully with some good news.
Come on, Chase. Don't die on us here. This is going to suck. Oh, the puppy is sitting in his chair. That hurts. Oh shit.
Damn, you want farther than I thought. What are y'all looking at?
You've got a little.
Oh. Cheers, lad. Good looking out.
Punch up. Who threw you out the door?
No one threw me out the door, Robert.
Oh my god. Are you concussed? Are you gaslighting me? I just saw you fall for
I kicked him through the door.
Okay, cool. Now that we got all of the details clear, why?
That's just a difference of opinion. I got heated, got in Golem's face. He had every right to punt me through the wall.
Right. It's a door, and I doubt you were actually in his face.
More like ankle, which made him easier to kick.
What the fuck is going on?
Which made him easier.
We want her out.
We voted. It was nearly unanimous.
She shouldn't have done what she did. I think she should go, sir. Boss. Robert.
Who wants her to stay?
Just me. But the team is more important than any one of us, so I won't stand in the way.
You could have led with that.
I feel the same as Golem. You all let me back in when you didn't have to. But I won't make you keep someone you want gone.
We heard about the suspension bullshit.
True.
It ain't enough, Robert. Not for what she did. To put everything we've been building at risk, and for what? I like the bitch, but she gotta go.
And by go, we mean cut. Just like you cut Sona. No one here wants to say it's also her. But that's what it is.
Oh, god damn it. This is a hard one for me. I want to keep Invisigal. Not just because she's my favorite, but also just because she did that to try to help me. She didn't have to, but she put herself in danger to try to help me, despite the fact it was stupid. You know what?
You've caught one of us already for far less.
Look, I probably don't say this enough, but I'm proud of all of you. How far you've come.
I'm defending her.
A few months ago, you wouldn't have been in a room like this discussing the needs of the Z team, and if you did, there'd be a lot more than one broken door. But I'm not.
Damn it. Hold on, I have to ban a bot. Yes, I see, I see. Really need to find somebody to mod for me. Suspicious user ban evasion. Really? You don't say. Alright, bot has been banned.
Not cutting in Visigal. We don't kick people when they're down. We lift them up, and I believe of her what I believe of all of you, that her heart is in the right place. It's what took us from being a team to being this weird, fucked up family. Look, you're hurting. Okay, I get it. I'm hurting. We are all hurting. Now isn't the time to cast blame. It's the time to come together and heal.
Oh shit, she was there.
Vizzy? Sorry, I can come back.
Why? First time we met, you were in your underwear. Fitting, right? Last time you see me, that I'd be in mine? I really do appreciate you defending me, but you shouldn't. Listen to your team. They don't want me here.
Courtney, look, you went in knowing the risks. What you were willing to put on the line to help me. What you didn't know was what Chase was willing to put on the line for you. Because he cares about you. And he's not the only one, so please don't throw all of that away by walking away from this. From us. Fuck, from me. Please.
They're right. I don't deserve anyone's forgiveness. Anyone's help, anyone's love. Because I can never repay it. Nothing I do will ever make up for what I've already done to you. I'd hoped getting the astral pulse back would help, but I couldn't even do that.
Vizzy, you don't owe anyone anything, okay? Least of all me.
You mean
I was
morale
there
has
that
dropped? Well, you know.
What are you saying?
I kind of didn't listen to them.
I never ran with Cruz. Always did my own thing, but my asthma was getting worse.
What
and
is that?
They had an augment that could increase my lung capacity. Only catch is I'd have to work for them, paying down for years.
Oh, hell.
Shroud came to me and said I could have the whole deck cleared if I was able to do one thing. Place a bomb on the back of Mecha Man undetected.
Oh, this is
Good news, buddy. Now Session just wants the astral pulse, which we all know isn't really yours anyway.
shitty.
I walked out before it even blew. My augments conveniently stopped working. So I signed up for the Phoenix program the next day. Which gave me the chance to fuck your life up twice. You gonna say something?
Well, I forgive you. So there, will you fucking chill out now?
You can't fucking forgive me? You haven't even, like, processed what's going on.
You did villain shit while you were a villain. Does it change things that you directed at me? No, it doesn't. That's in the past. You're not the same person that was there that night, neither am I.
That's sweet, but I feel numb.
Hey, stop making this feel like a goodbye. Okay, you're suspended. It's temporary. I'm not letting anyone cut you.
All I wanted from this was for you to look at me the same way you look at Blazer. Even if it was just once, you know? That'd have been enough.
I don't know what you mean by
Izuka,
that.
you fucking bitch.
Yes. You do.
Oh. Well, now, that was something.
Alright, well, you
Oh,
boys
you
don't
put
stay
the
up too late.
puppy on Chase. The healing power of puppies. Oh, god damn it. Do I give Chase the fucking credit? Do I give it to Invisigo? Why are you making me think this hard, game? You're being a real dick right now. Alright, let's be honest here. Chase probably isn't waking up again. And Invisigal went through all of that shit and got her ass kicked. Go with Chase because morale already dropped when you defended her. Well. Yeah. Not sure this will help with morale though, but... Unfortunately, the team might turn on you if you try to make them a hero.
I hope they all die.
You do have a point there. You do have a...
I'm serious. Any dumbass walking into a trap that fucking stupid should have the plug pulled right now. Just pillows over faces.
How the hell is there a ghoul from Fallout
their
sitting
faces?
there?
They get all red and puffy. Damn. All right.
I'm sorry. It's my fault. I've been distracting you.
Could you two do me a favor and shut the fuck up?
You got a problem?
Alright, we're gonna get into another bar fight.
Ah, fuck. I know what's going on. Kid probably lost someone there. He's always been staring at that shit all night. Get him a drink on me.
Bloody fucking thumbs up.
Oh my.
Trackstar. That guy sucks. I was fast, but now I'm old. Get fucked.
Oh man, we're definitely getting into a bar fight.
Cheers, fellas, to the fucking dream. To 5 minutes with the tightest ass in all of LA County. Can you motorboat an ass? Probably not, right?
This is not
End up blowing air right up her butthole.
End up blowing air right up
What's
her
up?
butthole.
You don't like acid?
Oh yeah, there we go.
Oh, not as far as I was gonna take it. But good on you, kid. I'm gonna replace that drink.
Oh shit.
I respect her. Blazer. Real fucking superhero.
Oh shit.
I know we're in a villain bar, but have some class, you know.
Oh.
If you're gonna blow some fucker's brains out, non-slip mats are a must.
Oh shit, it's Shade.
Need some for the hideout. Feels silly calling it a hideout. Can you take care of him for me? Obviously, you two don't need an introduction.
I've been waiting for this.
Oh. This isn't good.
Your dad. Chase.
Shroud, yeah.
Your little team of turncoats. You think you can beat the bad by being good. But there's no solving human nature. You can't stop evil. All you can do
is
control it.
This isn't working.
I thought you wanted revenge.
And this last two chapters are going to be brutal, aren't
Was
they?
your father's gun. Kept it in his locker, fully loaded. 6 shots. He couldn't have predicted I'd use it to kill him. The first bullet grazed his shoulder. I hadn't adjusted to the adrenaline spike. The second hit his upper chest. The third burst his heart. He was lying on the floor, eyes full of fear, when I put the fourth through his face. Bit of a waste to put the fifth through that idiot's skull, but I wanted to make sure it worked after all these years. Your father was the last person to touch this bullet. And now, there's a 16.5% chance it touches you next. Your invisible girlfriend stole my astral pulse to give it to you. Where the fuck is it? Mega Man. Heroes are the past.
You know what? We're gonna die.
Control this city and restore balance.
Bro.
This is why I hate luck. Runs out.
If I had it, why'd I let you string me up like a fucking piñata? She didn't get the pulse.
Hell, I thought Shroud had it.
You actually believe that? Show him. Invisibitch has the pulse. That I know. What I don't know is why she didn't give it to you. She played you too. Here I am thinking she's working with you, but she's fucking us both.
Oh my god.
She didn't take it for you. She took it for herself.
Well, god damn it. Now I feel kind of like an asshole for defending her.
She fooled me too.
Oh. Here we go.
The blonde blazer. I fired the bartender, but I can still get you something to drink.
No, thank you.
And to what do I owe the pleasure?
I'm here for him. In 5 minutes, this bar will be surrounded by SDN agents, heroes, and whoever else you and your ring have pissed off recently, which happens to be every gang in Los Angeles. Now, if...
Oh, shit.
Not disrespect one of the last true heroes.
What is Shroud's...
Sorry about that. If they weren't shit, you wouldn't have cut them. You were saying...
What is Shroud's deal?
I can see I'm outnumbered. That eventually I would fall. But by my read, I'm taking a lot of you with me.
Oh.
So all of you can leave now. Or half of you can die here.
Damn.
Now that's a fucking superhero. Chills. Top notch. You made them nervous. Okay.
I like
We're
it.
out of here. Take
Yeah, but I
your
didn't
piss
think Blonde
pants out
Blazer
the back,
would,
please. Don't want to tempt this tiger.
I didn't think Blonde Blazer would be such a badass. Hey,
That was
Adrenaline
not our
Dragon,
time,
how you
Blazer.
doing?
But it's coming
Wow,
sooner
I
than
thought
you
it was
think.
really, really late for you. I wasn't expecting
And by
you
my
or
calculations, it was closer to 32%.
anybody to show up.
But half sounds better.
Well, I really appreciate
About
you
the backup?
popping in
Yeah,
and saying hi.
absolutely.
I always love
About
seeing
taking
you.
out half of them? I don't think I was. Don't worry. I've got you. He really tenderized you.
I do love those
Are you sure he's
adorable
right
little
about Invisible?
emojis you have.
Yeah. I saw the footage.
What is her play? Why wouldn't she tell you if she has it? I don't understand what she would want it for unless she's trying to keep you out of the suit.
Alright, good night, Adrenaline
Matters
Dragon.
is,
Hope you sleep
trust
well
her.
and get a lot of rest.
I think you're more optimistic than I am.
You're
I've
probably
gotten this
right.
far betting on it in Visigal, so I'm just going to
Just need to sit here for like
A few weeks, then I'll be right as rain.
Take your time. I don't know how you're conscious.
See, when the pain's constant, it's easier to get used to. That goes for physical and emotional. Ow. Really is nice up here. Thank you. Don't remember if I've thanked you before, but...
About 50 times. You were muttering it the whole flight.
Then I take it back.
You should know I was going to take you to the actual Hollywood sign. Not as sturdy as you...
Oh, shit. Man, this, isn't going very well. I think shit is starting to hit. Oh man, it's the Green Dicklin. Hey Kaiser, how you doing? Thank you for coming. I appreciate it.
You're not leaving me here again.
Alright, things are getting heated. That was a damn good lead off there. 68% of players refused to cut Visigal from the Z team. You and 70% of players forgave Invisigal. 79% of players leaned into Invisigal's kiss. You and 9% of players chose a cigar. 54% of players glassed the bartender. Well, you know, I'm surprised that number isn't higher. He was kind of being a dick. 97% of players rescued Golem from himself, and 80% of players chose to go all out against the Red Ring. Performed better than 10% of players. Wow. That's a great way to tell me that I suck. Flags. Damn it, are you still getting flagged messages? Doesn't even help me with bots coming in here, so like I don't understand what it's for. Oh, Squid OW, thank you very much for the follow. I really appreciate it. Oh. Well, Squid brings me up to 20 followers now, and that makes me very happy. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. I've met my follower goal for now, so yay. I'll have to come up with a new goal to reach for. Thank you so much. appreciate it. I appreciate it a lot. Let's see. I am not really. I don't know how to mod, apparently. Really need to find a mod. I don't know how to do any of this stuff. Oh, Kaiser's flagged message was, "I love coming," of course. Such a naughty bunny. Why, yes, I did. I was a 68 whiskey. Back in the army. I never did anything really interesting at my post. Can't claim to be a combat veteran. Ever since this guy has shown up, I've been wondering what the hell the fursuiter was doing here. And putting a little booze in his coffee. That sounds about right. Is anybody really curious what this guy's powers are? I really want to know what he does. You'll be my mod, Kaiser?
No, Steve's on that one. Talk to him in a couple.
Oh, thank you. That's your lifesaver.
Can you go get Lana for me? I need
Report coming in from the refinery. Multiple augmented villains breaking containment.
Dispatch all available heroes in the area.
Boss, we don't have
I
any
would
heroes in
really
the area.
appreciate that.
Can you handle things here? We're overrun out there,
Because
and
I definitely.
I just think I need to get
help.
out into the field for us to have a shot.
Yeah, just promise that you come back, okay? I got enough trauma.
I promise.
Oh, shit. The tablet.
Keep an eye on the feed.
His powers are gonna be something messed up. I know, right?
My typing not the best, but you look like you can use the help.
We can use whatever you can give. Oh shit, is this it?
What you mean is this it? Bitch, you know what time it is.
Sorry. I didn't mean it like that. Thanks for getting out of
Alright,
bed.
I've messed with the settings a little bit.
I think I'll need to fall asleep, so I might need just a little.
Does that sound better?
Are you gonna finish your sentence, big man?
Huh? Oh. Shit, I thought I did.
Look, we're
What
shorthanded.
base was I at?
We should
I was
let the
at
team
Fort
trickle
Sam
in, so
Houston,
We'll have to make do for now. Lucky for
and then I
us,
stayed
the
over
best
at
heroes on the
after
roster.
Fort Sam
You don't know, you say
Houston
the same shit about whoever was
after
here.
I went through my AIT.
Look alive. We just got
Stayed
pulled
there
down
for some
the
special
cavalry
duty afterwards, and
Just
then
go
during a
home.
training exercise about 6 months after AIT, I fell out of the back of the truck and ended up dislocating my knee. Which was during the 2009-2010 downsizing, so I ended up being medically discharged without ever actually doing anything interesting in the army.
Jumping Jesus! Red Ring swarming all over the fucking city!
First things first, yes, half the team is missing. Let's fix that immediately. Next, LA is on fire. Okay, we'll work on that. Third thing, fucking Red Ring is oozing out of every crack in the city.
Damn,
Red Ring is...
It is a lot of things, but no,
There's a lot of
can't
things.
handle.
Yes.
So, I need you guys to focus. Shit's only gonna get worse if you don't. You with me?
I guess.
Great.
Yeah, it was a bit of a blow at the time, but it ended up
There's a
being...
suspicious package outside of City Hall. Please send someone to investigate. Bomb squad is tied up.
to 11th Airborne in Alaska. Nice. I hear it's pretty nice up in Alaska. Never actually been up there myself, but I hear that during the spring and summer months that it can be pretty awesome. Determine whether the package is a threat. Pretty, but the snow is already getting bad. Well, yeah, I can imagine.
Red Ring's at Kryptonite. Doppel's out there already, but there's too many, even for him.
Going to send Punch up. That one. Oh, that's great.
Robert, see that bar on the top left? That's Torrance, or what's left of it. We need to stop the Red Ring before they wipe us off the map.
Ugh.
All right, everyone. You should get live updates on the state of the city. Let's kick some Red Ring ass.
Isn't that what we pay SDN for? We're not evacuating.
Oh, what's it going to be this time?
Yes, you are evacuating, goddammit. Don't make me have to beat your ass. It's like my first winter back in 23.
Not out.
Well, I mean... It is Alaska. I can only assume that during the winters, the snow can get pretty bad. And some years probably worse than the others. Where are my other heroes? This is not going great. Oh, okay. That was simply luck. I'm gonna up your mobility some more. I think I can do this. Yes.
Red Ring just released an experiment from containment. It's a, big thing with claws.
Wait, someone's tracker is freaking out?
Well, do that hacking thing that you do.
I'll do that hacking thing that you do. Alright, let's do it. Going off and being Hackerman.
Fucker.
Yes, this game is definitely pretty star-studded when it comes.
Come on, focus.
I am not doing well. No, up here.
That went poorly.
Alright, last chance.
Are you serious? Shake it off and keep going.
Damn it. I could have used flambe. That sucks so badly.
Too bad there's no Grammy for this.
Well, at least I managed to get that. Help
The mayor
brain
is
book.
refusing to listen to reason. Could you perhaps lend a hand?
Feeling fresh. Come on now. Hell yeah. Let's go.
You're the only one I have with any brains.
Sorry I'm late.
Oh, there's Malevola, thank fuck.
Anyway, what'd I miss?
Oh, not much. Just the end of the fucking world.
Good to know. I reckon we're gonna try and put a stop to that.
Get your ass in gear, babe. We're putting in some mad OT.
I would hope so.
Requesting backup. We've got several 487s at the mall. Civilians, not Red Ring.
Of course. Of course. You know what? I'm gonna send you alone. There we go.
Shit. Signals split. Can't look for them at the same time. Gotta pick one to track first. We won't survive
You know
much
what? I
longer
need
without
Coop. Okay.
Nearly got you, Coop.
Oh, I suck at these. Where are you? The name of my persona is Sync. Just the same as my...
Stay with me. Asshole. There's no time for this.
Wow, I'm sorry, I'm very much sucking this round.
Oh, for real? Just kidding. I know I was in my bag on that one.
Pushing through.
I need backup now.
Why the fuck they take her there? She hates the ocean. Still on my feet.
Oh, I got these dickheads.
Hey, need a hand?
Busy.
Uh-huh. got a lot of explaining to do.
Look, I fucked up. Bad. Really bad.
Alright.
But
Alright.
can we please leave the being pissed at me for after we save the goddamn city?
For real?
Hey, lay off her, man. She's here to help, so just let her help.
No bullshit. We need all the help we can get. Busy. You're back in. On one
Alright, I got
condition, you
Coop.
fucking survived this so we can all be pissed at you together.
No promises. She looks pretty bleak out there, but I'll do my best.
That's more than enough.
Oh, here's Waterboy. Okay, let's get him.
Fuck it, I'm there.
I got this shit.
We need all hands on deck and our trainees are pissing themselves. Can someone help me out?
New me? Fucking rocks.
Hey, not to be a buzzkill
Alright,
or whatever,
let me get
but
this.
hypothetically, if we did need to negotiate, what are we willing to offer?
You sound just like Sonar.
Until he's back.
Let's see. I got temporarily disconnected from my chat, so if I missed something, I apologize. Okay, it doesn't seem as though I have. But yes, the name of my persona is Sync. Just like my streaming name. Sync Loran is the last.
Someone has to.
Well, I see we've entered the negotiating with terrorists phase of the evening.
Come on.
Let's put a pin in this.
No contest.
Quit with the low morale shit.
Watch me burn.
Damn. We really did not need that right now, huh?
All right, gang's all here. Some of you in worse shape than others.
Everything hurts. Even my socks.
Sam, you look like shit.
You just got rescued. Do not play with me right now.
God dang it. I'm sober again.
Oh, God damn it, I'm sober again.
Oh, shit. Give me 1 sec.
Hey, Phenomena Minute, fuck, what's your name? Phenomena Man? Hey, Phenomena Man. No, I'm good. Thought we talked about the melon.
Unfortunately, I signed up for the monthly Melon subscription to save 10% on my purchase. 11 months remain.
That's great. You like saving, so how about you help save the fucking city?
It does sound better than 10% of $822.
Holy shit.
Fadama Man makes me so sad. I don't know how to
get into the hero pool.
Yes, sir. I save on shipping by delivering it myself.
That sounds not worth it.
Yeah, that sounds not worth it at all. Fadama Man.
Whatever, man, I'm good.
Greetings and salutations. I have left the company of my far superior team to assist you. You may call me Phenomeman, for that is my name.
Yeah, I think everyone here knows who you are, man.
Phenomenon man. Big fan. I'm a big phenomenal man fan.
Is that the wet janitor who shakes violently like a small, frightened animal?
Oh my god. He knows who I am.
Waterboy's very excited to work with you.
Phenomenal.
Oh my god. Oh, this isn't going great.
The branch are all accusing each other of being Red Ring spies.
Alright.
If you are sure, I'm willing.
Graceful, but deadly.
We have to stop meeting like this.
Us. Never.
me on my jet right now. Fuck this shit.
Alright, let's see. Phenomenon. You know what? You just go alone. Bombay, I'm gonna heal you up.
Superhero backup requested. Giant monster on the beach.
Oh man, it's a kaiju. You know what? Let's do this.
What's it going to be this time?
The Cult of Chad is using the chaos to summon their god through human sacrifice.
Oh god, it's the Cult of Chad again. I thought we dealt with this dude.
Let's get lucky.
Izzy.
Let's rip him up.
Rally against the real enemy. Come on, guys. Gonna need you to all quit being assholes. Alright, fantastic. Break off the red ring collar, hell yeah. There we go, alright.
On fuego.
Shut up. Still don't like you.
Stadium's on fire. We're suspecting explosives. We need backup.
Phenomenon, why aren't you... this isn't gonna go well.
Oh, dang. I didn't know we had it like that.
And that's how we do it down under.
Oh, got it? Okay. Fantastic.
The university's security system was triggered, and we've got students locked inside.
Alright, I haven't done anything very well with the hacking this time, so let's see if I can... see if I can get this. Let's see here.
Still got it.
Password left, right, up. Zip, zap, thunderclap. Let's see here. Alright, fantastic. But alright, we'll put down. There. Oh, I need to hurry, I need to hurry, I need to hurry. Alright, do this. Boom, got it. Okay, first time. Hacking actually works. Oh. No way! No way!
Lessons on blessings today.
I did not deserve that to work. Okay. Not going to question it though. Alright.
Great.
Expanding branch service area to assist.
Because
Wow.
fuck us, right? Fucking cow shite. Okay then. I see how it is.
Oof. Okay. It's alright, guys. We can do this. We can do
You
this.
seeing this shit? What is that?
Whatever it is, it sounds like more shit.
Oh, fuck.
Yo, Z-Team! Been a while. Miss me?
No, we did not.
Brought Red Ring back.
You know what? I don't regret.
Sona, what the actual
I don't regret cutting you now.
Bloodblazer.
You're a dick.
I'm off the diet plan. Shroud lets me eat whoever I want.
Yeah, that's not the flex you think it is.
Don't worry. You and me'd always give him indigestion anyways.
If we want to save this city, we need to take Sonar down. Without him, the Red Ring will scramble.
What's the matter? Blazer can't fight her own battles anymore?
Ooh, that's scary. So you interrogate, intimidate, and sub.
Close your eyes. You're not gonna like what you see anyway.
Oh, I'm gonna tear him apart.
So yes, this is better. And then I can also send Punch Up.
No roommate. I'll make some.
Okay, alright. We can do this.
Shit. Red Ring's giving out tech like it's candy. There's a fuck ton of gangs wreaking havoc down here.
Phenomenon, why don't you go?
A valuable lesson in uncertainty.
Holy fucking shit.
Alright, let's do it.
Finally. I was getting sick of
I have
flying
to
over
dip
the same
for a minute, my
building.
phone is about to die.
I've got
Oh,
new
okay.
boring buildings to look at.
Oh, 95%, got it. Okay.
Ready, set, fire.
Oh, this isn't going well. Okay. Located a second bomb, defuse the bomb. Shit.
Who trying to step to me?
You know what? I just need to send you. Alright, so attacking Sonar. Okay, I got an 85. Oh, 100%. Alright. Sonar has been weakened. Fantastic.
God damn it. Red Ring's put up a roadblock. Let's fucking tear it down.
Destroy Red Ring's roadblock. You know what? Sounds like a job for you. I just want to send him alone.
Did you know that every time the city grows, it becomes larger?
Really? That's, interesting.
Although I understand there are higher priorities for SDN at this moment, Vanderstink's girlfriend is demanding a coffee from Santa Monica be brought to Vanco.
Are you fucking kidding me right now?
Hope she likes her coffee scalding.
Robert! Got any Z-teamers nearby? I need help with evacuation. Swift as the knife.
Oop, a level up.
We've got another gang out here with Red Ring Tech.
This isn't going to go well, but
My money's on Blazer.
Probably me.
Besides you, Golo. You're not allowed to bet on yourself.
use the bomb.
I forgot. We'll level it.
Oh, come on.
Oh,
Damn it.
hey, that's weirdly sweet. Thanks, man.
What's the bet?
Last one left alive when all this shit goes straight to hell.
I did not know so much pain could be felt on the inside. My outside was always so strong.
Alright, 100%. Got that one. Okay. Fantastic.
Watch me burn.
Hand over the bitch who stole my job.
Phenomena Man, I really don't care if you're set right now. I'm going to need you to get the fuck through.
Yo, Robbie, I want my tie back. So I can, you know, choke you with it.
Nope.
Oh, success. Okay. Oh. Oof. Alright, oop. Oop. Let's... Your intellect. Alright. Yeah, I knew that wasn't gonna go very well.
No one's in danger, but we pay good money for this service. What else could possibly be keeping you?
Funny thing is, Coop looks like a bat. I know, right? A new gated community in Palos Verdes has been set ablaze. No civilians are in imminent danger. Then why should I help you? You know what? Screw you.
Right by the roadblocks weaken the bridge. Guess we'll just have to hold it up ourselves.
Now we're talking.
Let's do it.
Alright, let's do this.
Guess what?
Found the distributor of the Red Ring Tech. It's Mr. Fister.
Sorry. What? This isn't gonna go well. Okay.
What the fuck is going on?
Nothing beats the original, but this will have to do.
Hey, that Red Ring creep Smilemore took over the radio station. She's trying to brainwash the citizens.
Close your eyes. You're not gonna like what you see anyway.
Alright, 100% on that one. Fantastic.
On fuego.
fuck? Why is the neighborhood watch mobilizing against the Red Ring?
Let me fry somebody, please.
Oh. Ooh, beat that one.
Fuck, that guy was
with
really
the smallest amount of luck. Okay. Oh shit. That didn't work out. That sucks. Aid them in the fight. Alright, get it done.
Get the team to be a team. Then they gotta go solo dolo when it count the most.
We're just failing slower.
That's how I feel, bro. They got us spread thin, bro. Hitting us everywhere. Can't get a win no kind of way.
You're right.
Hey, listen up. This isn't working.
This is what they want. Okay, to send us to every corner of the city, spreading us thin, forcing us to travel back and forth. No more coming back to base
We're
between
playing their game, so we need to do this.
Plan is for us to get more tired than we already are.
He knows our procedure, so he's predicting our moves. So, we need to switch it up, be less predictable. Z-Team, what happens today will live on and...
Alright, we get it. They can be the one who say some inspiring shit, or try to at least.
Affirmative on that. Be careful out there, team.
I am oh good. Okay. Okay.
Alright, Phenomenon.
Villains abound.
And Golem. Go ahead.
Yo, Robbie, I want my tie back. So I can, choke you with it.
Nope.
Alright, rescue the civilians.
This is, wow. Scary. Try to stay out of trouble, lad. Roger that, Mr. Punch-Up. Sir.
Alright. Way I can get them to heal. Probably didn't need to send that many people up there. Oh, 56%. Come on.
I was always too good for you.
I just want Coop. Send her through.
I'm not doing well. No, I'm not planning on streaming the D&D sessions.
Holy shit.
Besides which, it would be hard to stream a D&D session while VTubing.
I'm the alpha. The time I acted like it.
Ugh, that's the most beta shit you ever said.
I'm the alpha. It's time I acted like it. It's the most beta shit you've ever said. Alright, got it. Oh, okay.
No fucking way. Well done.
Always wanted to take over a city.
Oh shit.
On my vision board.
Getting my ass handed to me.
Ooh,
Graceful, but deadly.
Alright. YouTube. Here we go.
Z-Team's gonna stop us? That's rich.
Red Ring has attacked. Alright, you know what?
Oh. What's it going to be?
Send you on your own. You can do it. Oh, come on.
Help! We're trapped on the bridge!
I'll do my hardest. Hardest? This fucking rules.
Alright, let's see here. 66%. Oh, come on.
Oh, what the fuck is this?
Oh.
I've got you.
Wait a second.
Hell yeah.
Blazer.
Oh, Blazer.
Slugging it with the Phoenix program.
Welcome back, Kaiser. Welcome back.
Blazer's here!
It's funny. I see you in trouble, and I just can't help myself.
Well, that's great because I'm in deep shit pretty much constantly.
I was not expecting to see my former lover at a time like this.
My god, are you gonna be a little bitch about this? Damn it.
Have you considered a lateral move?
Alright.
You're done for.
You are about to feel so much better. And so am I.
Come on, come on. Okay, yes. Oh, I am,
Why don't you
screwed
send the
here.
real boss down here?
New me? Fucking rocks.
I apologize, everybody. We had a bit of a... Sorry about that. We had a bit of a power fluctuation over here. Is everybody still there? Okay.
Guess what?
I really thought we had something, guys.
Stormwolf, that's alright. Go ahead and go to bed. I am on my way to failure here anyways, I'm pretty sure.
Watch me burn.
Red bomb has been located. West side.
We back up.
The Red Ring has overwhelmed me. I need immediate assistance.
I'll do what I can.
Keep 'em coming. Yo, Red Ring's infiltrated the con.
Alright, let's
Someone's
see
messing with our
here.
systems.
Sorry, this dude's name is Mindfucker. It's fantastic.
Wait, what? Huh. I hate this.
It is a fantastic superhero name, actually. Mindfucker.
Huh. It's a path.
He, he reversed my controls. Oof, okay. Alright. Fantastic. Mindfucker is brain dead.
Oh shit, got myself on the winning team.
I
I'm really
feel
trying sometime.
weak.
Come on, Coop. We need you to hold it together just a little.
Not good, bro.
Critical systems are down. Please evacuate the building. This is not control.
Backup generator?
Should already be on.
Chase.
Oh. Chase is dead now. Oh shit. Oh shit, he's not. Oh. Man, that's good.
Alright, take care of him.
Trusted you, Vizzy. You were wrong for this. I defended for you.
Fucking put me down! I didn't do anything!
No! No! I caught you! I caught you red-handed.
You think I'd let you catch me if I was doing that? Use your head!
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Hey, come on. Roy, let her go, man.
No, brother. She ain't going nowhere. She tried to steal your mech suits.
Oh, fuck off!
It break my heart, brother. But Vizzy is a traitor.
No, she's not.
all
No,
of
she's
us.
not. She's not a traitor, okay?
trying
I
to help
am
you.
not.
I trusted you. Never again.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Holy shit. Is that the real?
She was trying to help you.
But I stop her.
Fucking idiots! You need me!
You brought the Astropulse. You already do enough.
You don't know what's coming.
What are you talking about?
She bring them here.
gonna trust in Visigal.
Fuck. We under attack. Watcher, don't get the power back.
You need my help.
You helped enough. I going.
No. Wait. Royd, I need my suit running. It's the only chance we have.
They have jammers up. You're not gonna be able to call out or call in. That's why this place isn't already swarming with heroes.
You sure know a lot about the plan for someone not involved.
Look,
Yeah,
they
it's
tried to
getting
recruit me.
really
Of course they
spicy.
did. But I said no.
Bullshit. Watcher, I go get the power back on.
The city health bar went all the way down, and
Here.
Cotton Visigal in the room for an unknown reason.
the Red
but
Ring, Royd.
I'm choosing to go all in with believing that she's here to help.
Hey, don't listen to her kind of bullshit, okay? You keep her tied up.
Not going to.
I got some pepper spray you can borrow if that's not enough. All right, untie me. What? Why are you looking?
You didn't lie to me, but you didn't tell me the truth.
On.
I'd love to sit here and explain it all to you, but a pile of Red Ring assholes are streaming into the building right now.
I just don't understand why you wouldn't tell me.
I was worried Shroud would come after you.
Well, he did.
So if I gave it to you, he'd have the pulse right now.
I do that all the time, Kaiser.
I was trying to protect you.
Yeah.
Look at it now, it's waving.
Well, the internal bleeding I've got from your old boss isn't making me feel all that protected right now.
Thumbstick.
What?
It's his name, because he sticks you with... Ugh, they're all fucking idiots, Robert, but they're dangerous. I'm not fucking around. Untie me. He looks stupid, but he is a killer.
Come on.
You don't have powers. You need my help. Just let me help.
Yes, I'm going to untie her.
God damn it. All right.
What are you...
I'm looking for something to cut you loose, but his toolboxes are locked.
What did he do that for?
Oh, I fucking wonder, Vizzy. Why would he lock up his tools around invisible criminal thieves?
Robert!
And I love...
Oh, great. Good.
Well, thank you.
Are we in kindergarten?
I'm gonna cut her free with safety scissors.
What was that?
Hold it in, dude. Hold it in. All right. Fuck. Come on. Come on.
My god, that dude just had to come up with this. What the fuck? You're an idiot.
Stupid shit. I hate this place. God, come on. Open it. Come on. Fuck. All right. Fuck it. Fuck it. Okay. Oh.
I can't believe these guys are actually beating me. Oh man, you got splashed with this. Ew.
Hey, nice job. Nice job. Why are his nuts out?
Oh, thought that was normal. You mind helping him?
Why would you crinkle cut your balls through your zipper if you don't have... What are you asking me?
Can you just put his dick away? Feels like the dignified thing to do.
Dignified...
I know the guy a little, and it's bad enough he's unconscious.
No, absolutely not. No way.
Really?
And what part of not wanting to touch this man's dick and balls do you think I'm unsure about?
Fine, Jesus. That's disgusting.
you.
Doesn't even bother me.
All right, go get your suit.
Wait, shouldn't we stick together? I hate it when she does that.
Alright. Back to being Mecha Man. Hell yeah, that's a way to make an entrance.
Oh, this is the premium package.
Roy, you really outdid yourself.
The man is Mecha again. Just like riding a bike, huh?
Alright, let's fuck these people.
This is great.
Oh my god, it's the Green Dicklin.
The suit doesn't work without the astral pulse, so it is really nice of you to bring it to us. Your dad would be so proud of you if he wasn't dead.
Cause Shroud killed him. Like he's gonna kill you.
And all your friends.
That break their fucking arms!
Guys, there is a door right there.
We can break all their arms right before we kill them. Super weird crime scene. Or just give us the pulse and we'll let you live.
With broken fucking arms!
Of course.
Both arms! Each one gets broken!
Everyone gets it, okay? We see the casts. You're making it weird.
I should have dropped you on your head when I had the chance.
Oh, is that what your mom did? To you when you were a baby? And that's why you're like this? Stupid idiot. Crazy, right? It's like real big, but super quiet. So cool.
Since this is the last episode, I'm gonna make a prediction that Vizzy is gonna be like Ava from Metal Gear Solid 3. She's gonna turn out to be a triple agent. Well, you know what? That is a pretty good theory. I guess we were going to find out.
Build a mech if I helped him build the Astral Pulse. Just another promise he didn't come through on.
That's what this is all about? You needed it to power your stupid spider shit?
It's not stupid.
Come on, kid. Using the pulse to power a mech is like plugging your cell phone into a nuclear reactor. No. I'm gonna use the pulse to change the world.
That plan is gonna be hard to pull off after I kill you.
Oh, they don't like that.
You alright, brother?
Alright, bye for now, Kaiser. Love you too.
Or is this just the warm-up round? Slick paint. Still got that new car shine. You were late. My calculations had you showing up 30 seconds ago.
Sorry to disappoint.
I can tell you how boring life is without surprises.
Well, then it's a good thing I can't even predict what these idiots are gonna do.
What the fuck?
Uh-oh. Here we go.
Doesn't matter if I'm fighting one or all of you. The outcome is the same.
I love Waterboy. I really do. He is the best superhero.
Leave the best STM has to offer.
Oh, damn, that's a nice, nice use of powers there.
Too slow.
I hope my saving you from collision was appropriate.
It was phenomenal.
You know, I definitely had that.
Oh, great. Well, I'll just go then.
Is a bitch.
We never finished our dance, Mecha Man.
Actually, I got the guy for you.
Wow, you really think this
Oh my god, Dick
Lucky
Puncher.
Charm is a match for me?
He's got a special move. See ya. Where'd you come from? I see you.
Ooh, that's not good.
Robert, this isn't working. He knows our next move before we do.
Robert Robertson returned. I fucking warned you that cutting me was a big mistake, bucko. What? I guess you're probably realizing that right about now, huh? Keeping Coop over me? You're actually so dumb, dude. You know she was stealing toilet paper from the office?
I'm sorry. I really am.
Sonar, stop.
Oh, look, Dad. Mom's home.
Hey, we're your friends. Please, this isn't you. Help us stop Shroud and earn your spot back on the Z team.
No. No, I don't think I will. Because you know what? Now I'm on the me team. And if you couldn't appreciate me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. Which is your loss, really. Because these new augment Shroud hooked me up with give me some pretty sweet new moves. Wanna see it?
No, actually.
Yeah, no, not really.
Oh man. This is an intense battle. These QuickTime events kind of come out of nowhere too. It's a little hard to keep up with them. Boop. Oh shit. Alright, forgot about Shroud. Oh shit. Damn. My dick. My perfect dick.
Calm down, it was your weekend. You can still jerk off.
Oh, maybe you could go with the 7-1 and hold it with... Yeah, you know what, fair enough.
Wait.
No!
Oh shit. That's not good. This isn't great. Oh. Wait. Oh, what was that?
Shroud's got a new suit now? What the fuck? How long was I out?
Blazer.
You're not the only one who wasn't born with powers. My powers come from that amulet.
Oh, really?
Shit. Look at you.
Oh, look at you.
Oh, Oh shit, yeah, look at me. Shit, no, look out.
No. Laser always did have a soft spot for helpless losers.
Fuck off.
Alright, let's fuck him up, team. Let's do it. Alright. Nothing beats the almighty finger. Yeah, I know, Chase is back. Water boy, I'm helping. I don't have powers anymore, but I can hit you with my fucking car. Super Spirit Bomb, let's do it. Damn. Alright.
We fucked them in the face.
We fucked them in the face.
That's it? Let's go again. Anybody want to go again? Yeah.
Hell yeah, Chase.
Nice.
You too.
Oh god, but what's gonna happen when Chase takes off that amulet?
Still look good, right?
You're like a French soccer player who's going through something.
A French soccer player that's going through something. No!
Trackstar.
No, don't hurt the puppy.
Elliot, put him down.
Don't hurt the puppy.
Fuck.
No! Oh my god.
Why is everyone so tense?
Okay, Chase can die if the puppy's okay.
I'm not gonna drop him. Because Track Blondie there'll just swoop in and catch him anyway. So yeah, no. If I'm killing this dog, I'm gonna be sure he dies.
I'll do whatever you want. But just please don't hurt him.
So, why don't you, and only you, Robert, fly your father's suit up here and give me my fucking astral pulse? Oh, and if the rest of you could surrender, that'd be helpful. Come on out. Don't be shy.
Oh yeah, if that puppy gets hurt, everybody's dying. I'm gonna John Wick everything.
There he is. So predictable. I knew this little sloppy guy is your weakness.
Don't hurt the puppy. Oh my god.
What is it you call her? Invisigal. And she'd steal that soft heart of yours like everything else she's robbed. That's why we planted her here. Yeah, she works for us too. She gets 2 paychecks for the same job. Look at her. Oh, she's embarrassed. So, all that to say, there isn't a thing you can do that I haven't modeled out. And once I have the pulse, I won't need to predict.
Still don't believe it.
I'll just know.
Visigal's gonna come through for me.
Not right now.
Same time, I just want a fair exchange.
Just don't be an idiot and try to give me the shitty prototype. I'm a bad person, but I'm a man of my word. Give me my pulse, and no harm will come to your stupid dog.
Hurt the
You all
puppy.
hear that? I've been through all the game theory on this moment 1,000 times. I'm not steps ahead, I'm miles.
Please don't hurt the puppy.
Don't fucking test me. What the fuck is this, Robert?
You said you wanted the Astropulse. I gave it to you. One of those is it.
They look fucking identical, Robert.
Look, you're right. I can't outsmart you. Because, you know what? I'm not a smart guy. So, the only way to keep you from knowing what I'm doing is to not have any idea what I'm doing. Which is how I feel all the time. But I trust my gut and I take my best guess. Just like you used to do. Before you plugged all those fucking Christmas lights into your head. Before you were afraid to make your own decisions, Elliot.
Maybe we wait till we get home?
Shut the fuck up! Fuck you.
Oh shit. Maybe I fucked up.
That was worth the wait.
Feel that, you fucking fucks? I told you! I fucking told you, Clouds! You feel the power?
I see it now. I can see it all. It's all there. Every permutation. Every...
Oh, fuck yes.
Uh-oh.
Fuck! Wait.
Just a hunch, but I'm starting to think that you guessed wrong.
No.
Just a hunch. Oh, that sucks.
This can't be.
You know, someone has to clean it up, right?
You son of a bitch!
Don't be mad. You lost. It happens.
Sorry, kid. We both lose.
Oh no. No, no, no! Take the bullet! Oh,
I guess I
no.
can still be surprised.
Don't make Invisigirl die. But the puppy's okay though, so. Oh my god. I really... he pissed me off. I really want to kill him. Man, this game is absolutely fantastic with these choices they make you go through. These are these are sometimes difficult ones. What do you think, chat? Don't be like Batman, finish him. Okay. I succeeded as a mentor? Really? His little tiny handcuffs.
How am I the one on a stretcher when you look like hemorrhage shit?
Be that as it may, you did get shot by a gun. Hospital check is pretty customary after that.
It didn't hit anything. Bullet went straight through.
Yeah, about that. Quick hero lesson. When you jump in front of a bullet, you're supposed to actually stop it. You know? It's kind of the whole point.
The fuck is this?
Maybe you should let a nice moment be nice every now and then.
Okay. Okay. Chill out, weirdos.
Aww.
Are you okay? Do you need anything?
This is just a precaution.
Look, all of this was a real
clusterfuck
shit show. Actually, I was gonna say poop show, but I'm trying to sound like less of a dork.
It's already working.
I hope the fact that I've always rooted for you makes up for ever doubting you.
It does.
I don't blame you. I mean, look how untrustworthy she looks.
Right?
There's always a home for you here, Courtney.
I appreciate that.
So, here we are. Looks like you did it.
What is the it you're referring to?
A lot, really. You're not a bitch, apparently, at least according to them.
Oh, what do they know?
Very little, yeah, but there's also all that, you know, really heroic shit you did, saving my life and all. That was cool. Does that make you a hero now?
No.
I think it might, though.
Oh, you got something on your...
Is it blood? I'm a bleeder.
Ooh, damn.
Someone is attracted to Robert. And you lock that down, Robert, because never go to happen again.
Is it still there?
All right, let's do it.
Take care of her.
Kissed on a stretcher.
I will.
Holy shit. She took a bullet for Robert. Something I would never do.
Something I would never do.
My shroud and those
I know you wouldn't, big hole.
jerks, the Red Ring.
There's a story out there that Shroud was killed by not a superhero, but an SDN dispatcher. Care to comment?
We cannot confirm or disconfirm this evidence, but I can say that bitch Shroud deserved what he got. Oh shit, can I not cut?
It's fine. We can bleep it out.
Well, and shit, that's the only reason I'm talking. Point the camera over. These are the real heroes right here. This is the team that thwarted Shroud in the Red Ring.
Who the hell let Chase go on with the interview?
Z-Team! Z-Team! These fuckers are the best heroes in the whole motherfucking SD.
Actually, I'm hearing now we can't bleep the curse words. Reporting live from SDN Torrance. Back to the studio.
We did good, huh, brother? Z-Team saved the day. We get you returned to the Mecha Mans. Defend SDNs. Took damage, but I don't care.
I couldn't have done it without you. Seriously. All the work you put into the suit is what made this possible.
Yeah. Royd needs his stuff.
The hard part, fella.
Royd needs to be congratulated.
Well, no. Obviously, you can do that stuff too. I saw you were throwing those Red Ring fuckers around like graduation caps. No joke, I started to feel bad for them. It was mesmerizing.
Yep, that was a fun scrap for sure.
How did they know a dispatcher did it? I don't know. Somebody probably talked.
Good job, Mecha Man.
Like it was that dick dispatcher, he did it.
Over here!
Hey! The bat in the suit? Yeah, he's with us.
Yeah, that's a founding Z-Team member right there.
You got the wrong bat, man.
What do you think? Did they earn a pardon?
Is that my call?
It could have been. But after all that you're a bunch of betas talk, let's let him spend a few months in prison. Then we'll see how much of an alpha he thinks he is.
Hurry it up.
Hey, so... you maybe got an extra one of those?
I do, actually.
Really? I mean... where'd all the extra beers come from?
Oh, there's a ton of booze in the rec room. That's where they got it. I'm honestly shocked it hasn't turned into an issue.
Oh shit, no powers.
I got it. Forced to open beers like a normie.
I'm getting drunk like a normie too. I've had half a beer and I'm already feeling it.
So, is that permanent?
Got the puppy.
He's borrowing it until we can figure out a different solution for his issue.
Right, the whole being on the brink of death issue.
That's the one.
Well, it looks like he'll enjoy while it lasts.
So...
I wonder if there is some other...
you feel better?
...choice I could have made.
Oh. After killing Shroud?
Yeah. Robert, why? Did you kill more than one person today?
No. Not even a little.
I wonder if there's some other choice I could have made that would keep Sonar from going to jail.
Suspended pending an investigation. Just a formality.
Totally understand.
You did a great job. With them, with Invisigal. She really stepped up. Took a bullet for you and everything. I wouldn't have put my money on this team being the one to save SDN, but here we are.
Getting them to not be assholes to each other is the start, not the end.
Getting them to stop being assholes is just the start.
Take tonight to enjoy it. You can worry about what's left to do tomorrow. That was quite a kiss she laid on you. Gonna have to talk to HR about that.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that.
I'm joking, Robert. Relax.
Cool. So we're good?
The screen keeps kind of flickering, so I'm guessing that it's going through the ending based on my choices and
Make her
picking out the
happy.
different scenes.
Because God knows she's fucking miserable.
Make her happy because God knows she's fucking miserable.
So does this mean the team's off Monday?
I was just trying to figure that out.
I think you might need to go.
I need to take this young man if you don't mind.
By all means.
That's new.
You were right. I was wrong about Vizzy. She didn't actually
I'd have
kill
to
me,
do
just
what
almost.
you saved him in the
Now,
fight.
let's see if I can
yeah,
make
right?
her up.
Wait, what?
Oh God.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Wait, let me get a picture.
Somebody else take the picture.
Okay, what's happening? Okay, stop. Wait, are we taking a picture? Are we taking a picture?
Oh my God, the poor kitty fursuiter.
Taking a picture? What's happening? Okay, that's enough.
Let's be careful with your dispatcher.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Oh shit.
Instantly painful, actually.
All right. Well, there it is, the end of the game. Holy crap, was that a damn good game. Man, that final battle was definitely had me on edge, and I still don't think I did the best on that. Sean McLaughlin! Man, dude, made me so sad. Fuck you, Flambe. I still hate you. Harvey, aka Thought Squad. I need to play this, and I hope chairs become a meme for this game, right? The chairs seem to have been a pretty clutch way to get rid of superheroes and solve or supervillains and solve pretty much all of the problems in the game, so definitely gonna have to replay this and see how the other options go. I went through this just kind of making the decisions that would kind of just by instinct. You know, I didn't want to be spoiled by anything, of course. So I didn't look up any of this. So you and 58% of players deceive Shroud by giving him both astral pulses. Oh, nice, nice, nice. You and 35% of players exacted vengeance and killed Shroud. Chairs are to this game what doors are for D&D players. I mean, true. You and 51% of players weren't sure what to do about Shroud, but decided to kill him. You and 87% of players trusted in Visigal and untied her. See, I told you, I was right to trust her. It ended up helping me in the end. You and 72% of players supported Invisigal, leading her to embrace heroism over villainy. Oh, so that's what it meant by succeed at being a mentor. You and 63% of players fell for Invisigal. You and 30% of players lost to sonar and failed to save Los Angeles. Well, yeah. That was, not even sure what I could have done better with that, but I'll definitely try it again. You and 28% of players didn't have the opportunity to keep Sonar out of jail. Oh, I see. If I'd have defeated him before, then I would have been able to keep him out of jail. But since he was a dick and destroyed everything... Yeah, that makes sense. You and 55% of players went on the coffee run. You and 64% of players made Invisigal put away Thumbstick's dick. Fantastic. My most sent hero was Prism, and I sucked ass at that shift and had better than 10% of the players. Because, of course. I activated a hero's powers 73% of the time. 73%. 73 times. An anti-hero. Your Robert didn't always take the moral high ground, but he mostly meant well. Oh, so it gives you a rating at the end of this, too. I mean, going by instincts and what I would normally pick, I can see how I got an anti-hero. My most sent hero overall was Prism. I sucked ass overall. Told you that. And you activated hero's powers 167 times across all shifts. The most successful hero was good old Jackaboy. I set the perfect hero for the call 4 times across all shifts, and I barely succeeded 8 times. My most successful shift was Episode 8, Phase 2. I think we're full of shit on that one. And my strongest hero was Coop. Yeah, that was a pretty nice touch, wasn't it? Alright, everybody. Well, this was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed playing this game. This was a great game. And I would highly recommend for you to play it as well, because, damn. I have a feeling that there are a lot of different endings for this, and that there are a lot of different ways that this could game out. I'm probably going to be... yeah, I'm probably going to be playing another one for stream, where I go with the Romance Blazer option, because... I mean, she could have been a massive bitch, but instead she kind of turned into a cinnamon roll, and I really like her. But this time, Robert got the anti-hero ending. So, I mean, honestly, with my personality, anti-hero is pretty close. But next time, I will be going for a probably full hero ending. You know, Laser, she seems like she's the full hero type. But for now, this is the end of this episode. And I really appreciate everybody who came by to watch me play. It was a lot of fun, and I love the audience input. Alright. So, while I don't want it to end, maybe check out some of the old Telltale games? Well, I probably will. The Walking Dead. Oh yeah, I forgot they had made that game. Yeah. I mean, that would probably be fun. But yeah. I really appreciate it, everybody, for Draken Hunter. I'm pretty sure you're the only one still awake through all this, so thank you for sticking with me and seeing it to the end. For everybody else, hopefully you can see it on the VOD if you're curious about how it turned out. And for now, I will need to go. But this has been a lot of fun, and I really appreciate it. Wolf Among Us? Never heard of that one. I'll have to add that to the list. Alright. So for now, I'm gonna need to head off, and it's pretty late now for me, so time to go to bed. But I will see you on later streams, and Draken Hunter, I'll see you tomorrow for some D&D, which will be a lot of fun. Good night, and again, thank you for being here and helping me make decisions and stuff. Alright. Also, I want you to know that I love you. So, have a good night, sleep well, and I'll see you next time.